given up on doing work today because I can't be bothered. I had an exam, you know. But I don't feel like doing anything else because I've been stopping myself from doing time-wasting things over these past few weeks so that I actually get work done. But now I don't want to do those time-wasting things because I've got into the habit, which is good, I guess. But now I'm bored, so. So Jacob is coming down on Friday, and we're gonna go to the cinema. Should be pretty good. Yeah, nothing else is happening. I'm just sort of looking forward to a 6 or 7 week thrash of work until the exams. Because I have 120 exams are in my 120 lectures are in my exams, which means I need to average about 2.6 lectures every day till the exams, and then I will pass. Or then I will get 100% in theory. So yeah. So I'm reading this book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is apparently quite well known, but I hadn't heard of it before I was recommended it. It's like a travel diary slash philosophical discussion sort of thing. So he's having a conversation with his son about whether he thinks that ghosts are real, and the son's like, do you believe in ghosts? And he's like, no, I don't believe in ghosts. But because they're not scientific, and they don't, they're not explained by the laws of physics, then they don't exist in the physical world. But then he says, actually, everyone believes in ghosts because, so he used the example of the law of gravity wasn't real until Newton wrote it down. Like, did those words exist at the beginning of the universe when there wasn't even any space for them to exist in? So in that sense, in the sense that all scientific knowledge exists in people's minds, basically, and ghosts only exist in people's minds. So in the same sense, they are just as, they're just as real as each other in some ways. But what I thought is that it's interesting to think about where knowledge exists, because it's like knowledge is something that exists in, like, it's real, but not described by the laws of physics. Like, it's not a physical thing, but it definitely is a real thing. So it's interesting to think, like, where does it exist in people's except in people's minds? And because I was thinking, like, in all the books that exist now of, like, scientific stuff and, like, everything, the collective knowledge of mankind, like, that's written down, does all of that exist in between all the humans that are alive as well? Like, between us, if we got rid of all the books, could we write them all again? Like how much of it would we actually lose? And I think we would lose, actually, quite a fair amount. It's interesting to think that there's books which people don't know the contents of. So if it doesn't exist in people's minds, then, like, where is that knowledge? Like, where does it exist? So I said I was reading that book, and yeah, I don't read a lot of books. I don't read as many as I should, and I'm the typical, like, stereotypical millennial in that sense. In that I only have time. I only have the patience for, like, the very greatest hits sort of thing of literature. there's no reason, I feel like there's no reason why I should read anything but the best books, because like they cost the same, they take just as long to read. So who has time? I mean, I have time for I feel like I don't have time for fiction stuff. I don't know where I'd fit that in amongst all the doing nothing and sleeping. So there's a YouTuber called Bing who I followed for a very long time. He was actually probably the first person on YouTube who I probably got into sort of following. And he had a project called Past Bing, Future Bing, where what he would do is he'd film every other day. He'd sort of vlog or talk about something, and then the next year he would fill in the other days with vlogs of that year, and then he uploaded it in the second year as he was filming it, if that makes sense. So it was like Past Bing one day, then Future Bing, then Past Bing, then Future Bing, and he kind of set it up so that it was like a conversation through time. So he asked himself questions in the future, and then the next day he would answer it, which is quite interesting because you got to see how like this person changed over the course of 2 years, and then by the time you get to the end of the project, you got to see how Past Bing changed into the beginning of Future Bing. It was interesting because a few days had because each vlog had its own kind of theme slash mood slash kind of like story lines or vague story, but it was weird how sometimes the days coincided. So you'd have like him having a really bad day and it's just like terrible, and then the next day he could be having like the best day, but they're put next to each other, but actually they're a year separated, obviously. Basically it was just an interesting watch, and it required what I thought at the time was an incredible amount of determination from a YouTuber. Like, yeah, it's quite a lot of a commitment to film yourself every other day for 2 years. After which I found daily vloggers. So the first one I found was Louis Cole, and then, I mean, there were some people in between, but I found Louis Cole and then his friend Ben Brown, and then I found Casey Neistat, who at the time wasn't vlogging, but he was making just short films and they just happened to be on YouTube. Or at least that's how he identified him, as being not a YouTuber but a filmmaker who was on YouTube, which has since changed. He now calls himself a YouTuber, but whatever, what's the difference? So when I found Fun for Louis, he was on like day 370 or something like that. So it's like, whoa, this guy's already done the same amount of Past Bing, Future Bing videos, but each of these is like 10 minutes long, and a lot of them are more interesting actually, and obviously they were consecutive days as well, so it's even more of a craziness. And now he must be over 1,000. I mean, I haven't checked, but he's probably over 1,000 by now. Days in a row, which is like, I mean, at first you're like, wow, that's a lot, like that's a lot of filming, but then again, like, that's his job, like that's his actual job, so doing his job every day is still an achievement, but that is his actual source of income, so it's like not surprising that he'd have the motivation to do that. Yeah, so what I was thinking about 2 hours ago or something, no, I don't know, the beginning of this video, how long has this video been? 6 minutes and 10 seconds ago, I was thinking maybe I should do a Past Bing, Future Bing type thing where I do every other day for 2 years, but then that's a lot of filming. I'm not up to doing every other day. Maybe if I did like every week, every other week, then that would be something that I could probably stick to. Every other week. It's either that or just do random videos continuously, which I probably should just do. This video is getting on. Let's just edit this together, and if you've got to this point, then well done, you've edited this video together. I'm not gonna